Building good habits builds motivation, but you should start slowly and work your way up to avoid burnout. Anyway, I've been working on a game called Adventure's Edge, and I'm currently working on the buildings. Once I've finished those up, I'll start building up the maps, and then I'll start working on some of the more important stuff. Now, the problem I have with the OBS recorder is that it causes lag. A lot of it. This frame rate right here, I don't know if you can see it, but it's at like 15 to 13. It's usually at 30. But that's not such a big deal. I'm going to be cutting a lot of resource-intensive stuff, reducing some of the animated characters. Now, this is where I'm building the buildings, and right now I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got to do like about a dozen more. The offices are mostly done. I just need to give them navigation, and I'm probably gonna use the offices as a base to build the labs. And then I'll take the museum, modify it a little bit for either the fabricator building or the mayor's office. Maybe even the arcade. I'll probably reuse the lab for the radio and TV stations. Really, I'm getting kind of lazy working on this because it's been a while. Of course, a bit of laziness isn't exactly a bad thing. Yeah, that's all the math stuff. Anyway, laziness might not be a bad thing, but I really don't like getting lazy, or I really don't like telling people to be lazy. But, you know, you start working on a game, and then you trim stuff. Now let's center these. Shift S, yay! Shift S and selection to cursor. Tab, grab, and stick. Okay, but let me get this. I want to see how everything lines up. One. There we go. That's better. Let's grab this. Okay. Switch it to cursor. Move these over. Move them up. Basically what I'm doing now is centering everything. Because if you keep everything centered, then when you import it into a game engine, like the Godot game engine. It's all right there centered. All you have to do is add the meshes, add the collisions, and you're done. You don't have to nitpick and move everything to make sure everything's perfectly aligned. And it prevents future problems. Current problem I'm having with this. No, not really a problem. I'm going to be adding some stuff anyway. Ugh. Let's see. I've duplicated that. That's going to be the offices. And I'm going to be making the laboratories. Yay! Labs. Okay. Have this. Control and what was it? Right mouse click. No, left mouse click. Control and left mouse click to grab these. Delete the faces. All the faces. Shift D. Okay. Let's grab a floor roof. Because I am awesome at naming things. Not really, but... And yeah, you're going to want to name stuff. And make sure it's well named. Okay. These are going to be... the background labs. Have a... Shift D to duplicate. D. Let's just scooch a few things over. Control J. Control J. Shift right click to select two different things. Right click to regular select. Remove doubles. Yeah, W, remove doubles. A to deselect. Let's grab these. Remove the faces. You don't want interior faces. That'll make things look ugly. Yeah, interior faces make things look ugly, and they take up resources. And I'm trying to project my voice a bit better, but I've had a migraine last night, so... And my voice isn't exactly the loudest or best. D. Rotate with the R. Grab with the G. Okay. We are a couple off, so this and stick it there. Grab these and stick them there. The player's not really going to notice things being stretched a little bit. In fact, players really don't notice much of anything. That's why you use road signs in really large games. I've played really large games that have had road signs, and those developers are awesome. Yep, and I've made these prefabricated walls. I was gonna just piece things together, heat extrude. I was gonna piece things together in the game, but the thing is, the walls, well, I was aligning by the floors, and the walls add a little extra, and then that makes everything kind of offset. Now I'm doing both the inside and outside house as a single object. I could use a separate map for the interior, but that's more work, and nowadays you don't really have to do it because technology has advanced so much. In fact, Control J to join. I pretty much try to run a project with more resources than it needs, or with more animated characters in it than it. One second. Than it will normally have. That way, when I do actually run the game, I've got a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of extra to trim, and I can have a few ideas on how to reduce lag. And remember, using Control N to make sure that the faces are, that the face normals are actually pointing outward correctly helps. There are a few things more annoying than importing something and realizing there's a hole in it because the faces aren't flipped correctly. Now I'm removing the internal faces. Control J. Remove doubles. Yeah, I know, it sucks. There's no awesome background music, but you know, YouTube's kind of been, I've heard YouTube's been kind of bad about that. Now, because I modified this building, and I'm grabbing these and joining them to what's already centered. Then I won't have to recenter them again. Now let's select this. Okay, Z to make it transparent so we can select the faces in the back. You are reset. Scale these down. Let's grab natural tiles. I hope he's not coming out here. Damn it. them things. It's like watching predators. The lions, tigers, and bears kind. You completely mental creatures. Just circling me. Okay, now, grab this. You and hard reset. Okay. Ah. No, that's not where I want to go. I want to go with the brick wall. You know, you try to find a place you can go and record stuff where no one will bother you. And guess where everyone goes? Right there. Okay. Now, I think I might modify these tiles. Okay, right now for labs, laboratories, and offices. Okay. But I think they might strain the player's eyes. Now I'm shift clicking, shift right clicking all these spaces. You know what, I might not modify anything or cut anything. You are reset. Okay, A to deselect and reselect everything, and then we'll go back to the walls. Because I originally set this, these walls to a different texture. And apparently Blender remembers and doesn't want to forget that, and doesn't want me to forget that, and doesn't want anyone to forget that. Oh yeah. No. Just select one of these. One doorway. And here's U and B to get the project from the boundaries, or stretch it. Stretch the selections layout to the boundaries. Scale it down. Scale it up. Now, since these are interior doorways, I can just do that and select both sides. Now, I'm going to select those. Control 1, U and B. Now, yeah, this texture is going to have some seams. I can modify that later by modifying the texture. But, like I said, the player doesn't really notice a whole lot. Which means that they're probably not going to notice the seams. And I've seen seams in AAA titles. I'm not going to tell you which ones they are, because they belong to a litigious company that likes to, you know, sue people. U and B. And I might add some extra colors and stuff later. Wall colors, U and B. Scale it down with the S button. Scale it back up with the S button. Now, yeah, the interior is good. Now, externals are usually, exterior walls are usually easier. And I usually like, see this little bit of a spot here where the walls meet. I like to put them to the right of a face. It's just easier, and like I said, the player's not going to really notice anything that's stretched out. Now, I will do these little areas to the left of a face if it's at the edge here. But let's grab this, shift, grab this, shift, grab this, this. No, wait, I'm doing that wrong. Let's grab all the faces. Sometimes you actually do want to hit a brick wall. What are they doing up there? Peopling, I bet. Okay. And yeah, you probably noticed that seam too. It seems to be pretty obvious. Please don't throw tomatoes. 1, 2, 3. There we go. We grab every other one. Already selected. I do S, X, -1 and hit enter. And the seam is gone. Seamless. Okay. B and B. B. Okay. Select all these faces and place them where they should go. Oh yeah, sometimes it just doesn't even give you the image. And you have to go and select the image. And there's the seam. That's -1. Enter. And the seam is gone. Shift D to duplicate this. Now, I have roof pieces here. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate one and bring it down, or I might not have needed to do that. Whatever. Grab this, grab these, faces. Grab these, put them there. Take this. Rotate it around, put it there. Now, I've modified these roof pieces. So let's do this. Okay. One bit off. Okay. Just a small amount off. Rotate this. Now we put it right there. Grab this. Move it up. Yeah, all my stuff is cattywampus and crooked. Let's select all of these because they're still on a different material. And join them. Doubles. You can also go here and select the faces. Select these faces. And delete the faces. And extrude this with E. Straight down here. Extrude again. And remove the doubles. Now, normally I'd grab all of these faces. And then what I do is I would grab every face on this roof, put the A button, and then use U and reset. Oh. Okay. Get rid of that. There we go. Hey. Okay. As long as everything's where it's supposed to be. Going hard to reset, and let's scale this down. And this is the wrong image again. We need roof tile. Grab it and let's scale it up. Now normally I'd select all of these and then reset them and then grab each of these and then do the project view from bounds. As far as the undercarriage goes, which is more of the ceiling than the roof, just select them, grab them and stick them down here in this white area. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, Shift F. And Blender gives you a flight mode. and shift while you're in flight mode speeds you on your way. Oh boy. I guess I didn't do it for all of these faces. Which means it wasn't done for the roof. On the other side, yes, it's a good idea to double check things. And yeah, this is big enough for the player to walk around in. We've got a bunch of other buildings for them to walk around in. And I get to swim through my 3D models. Okay. Let's grab all of these. Put them there. And everything's aligned. Grab these. Let's rename all this stuff. FFICE, Oracle F, C, Control V, Control R, Control C, Control V, Office, oh, no, WA, Office Walls, Control A, Control C, Control V, yes, naming things is quite helpful. I have Oracle F, Control C, Control V, and this, S, Control A, Control C, Control V, R, Control A, Control C, Control V, and everything's centered. Now this is an exterior path, and see those points there? It will line up with these other paths, which have the same points. Because in Godot you have to have, if you use multiple navigation meshes, you have to have them align perfectly. And it's a good idea to, at runtime, change them all to direct children of the navigation node. And then, if you're using objects to get positions to navigate to, make them all direct children of the navigation node and make sure to grab their global positions. Their, it would be, I think, get global transform and then reapply them. That just makes things easier. Less bugs and errors. I mean, it's not really a bug or an error, it's just if the navigation elements are too far down the stack or within nested scenes, you're going to have some problems. I mean, the people who made Godot are doing their best. They can't handle everything. just like you can't handle everything when you create a game. Fine. Alright, another thing to keep in mind is that creating different assets for your game takes a really long time. I mean, I could probably do 4 buildings a day. If I wanted burnout, and I have a heart condition, so too much adrenaline is bad. Like, really painful bad. Now, we extrude these down here. And you want to keep a little bit of space in there, and the Blender cube and the Godot cube are pretty equivalent to each other, which is quite helpful. And yeah, even my doors align. So these will be offices. And laboratory offices and minor laboratories for smaller things, which really won't affect the player. And this will be for more major stuff. Because I kind of need a laboratory for the storyline. Because you will be collecting the Lazuna creatures and bringing them actually to the lab, or dropping off the ones you don't want. You'll have to collect them, and you'll be able to collect them, all of them, and then drop them off at the lab, and then later on, after all the lab technicians are through studying them, then you'll get your nice little information thingy that tells you all the information about all the creatures. Also, I try to color code my walls and floors. Wooden tile for whatever. This tile here and the pink walls are mainly for bathrooms. I use blue heavily because I like it. And I have green for, you know, whatever else. It works. It actually works really well. Don't really need a whole lot of colors or a whole lot of options. It just makes things a bit more difficult for you, and if you give the player a lot of options, it makes it difficult for them. I'm thinking I'm pretty much just gonna randomly generate the characters. The player will get whatever the heck they get, and if they don't like it, well, they can cry some more. And I'm being really, really simple with these navigations. Oh, place objects later. But since the NPCs pretty much go through walls, it doesn't really matter. Man, that's a feature. And I can fix it. It's just I'm not entirely sure if I want to. Because as long as they're on the navigational path, they're fine. And they'll walk through each other, so I don't have to program in NPC avoidance, especially through doorways. Because the less work you have to do on a project like this, the better. Because you're not just building a house, you're building a home for all the video game addicts. No, basically, it's kind of close to building part or all of a planet. Like, God made the world in 7 days. Yeah, I know. Unpopular opinion. Go pet a puffin. But really, some games take 7 years to make. And that's with top-of-the-line, super expensive game engines. That's another reason I like Godot. It's free. I mean, yeah, there's bugs here and there, but a good game developer and programmer and whatever else I am, you find your way around the bugs, glitches, and, you know, the things it doesn't have, the deficits. Because you're never going to find a perfect game engine, but I'd rather find one that I'm comfortable with. Besides, a lot of the 2D and menu nodes that Godot has are really awesome. Especially the rich text node. Oh boy. I'm almost done with the navigations for this building. And then we go on to the next building. Not really, I'm just going to chop off the extra room navigation and use this anyway. Or I could reuse this navigation mesh, this actual navigation mesh. Although right now it's just a mesh. I could reuse it. Because there won't be anything on the other side for the characters to navigate to. But Murphy's Law, if anything can go wrong, it will. And so many things go wrong. I had a glitch, a bug, all my fault. All my fault. That took me a good 4 months to figure out what it was attaching. Well, when you import a scene in Godot and initialize it, then you have to make it a child of another node, and then once that's done, you, hey, that works. Okay. Once you make it a child of another node, well, you have to, and then you set its position in the world. The thing is, I had all the Lazunas on a single node, which is fine. It's fine. And I was randomly grabbing I had the wild Lazunas randomly target each other by randomly grabbing a random child node on that node, the creature node, which is also fine because there are only Lazunas there, and that's all they could target, except that wasn't the case. Oh yeah, use the number keys to change the view. It's on the keypad, or you can set Blender to use the numbers up top. Anyway, I'm getting a little off track here. Anyway, the thing is, that creature node, all of its children were not just Lazunas. No, I decided to hang the attacks on there as well as they're flying through the air. So I wasn't just selecting Lazunas randomly, I was also randomly, accidentally selecting the attacks. Of course, at that point when you beat a Lazuna, it would be removed, so I had a nice little catch for any objects that were removed. Of course, when a Lazuna targeted one of the skills and tried to attack it, it did not have the data that it was looking for. I mean, it had the metadata, but the dictionary didn't have the health data. And when, on a very rare occasion, that Lazuna selected an attack and tried to attack it, the game crashed. But it didn't always, well, because it was randomly selecting, you could go several plays without a crash, and then suddenly the game would crash. And it took me quite a few months to figure out what exactly was going wrong. Now, let's place this here. Yeah, here looks good. And that's pretty much what I do to make the buildings, except that I do a lot more because I have to pull them together from scratch. I don't normally have a pre-existing building to build on. But, of course, reuse resources where you can and build on whatever you can. Yeah, this is going to be for power. I'm also going to use it for transmission. Well, to look like a transmission tower for TV stations and radio stations. In fact, still have to do the vending machine. Anyway, these are the buildings that I need to get done. The core buildings that will be in a map. I already have the houses done. All of them, including interior objects. So, and yeah, interior objects are really easy to do. Buildings are just difficult. I did the guild building, which is actually going to be in every map, but I won't need employees for it. And since I'm only doing like 8 buildings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 special ones to give each town a bit of flavor, I won't need 12 houses with families. I'll only need 8, which is going to drop the NPCs a bit, and I'll still have the adventurers, and I'll put about 4 or 5, and then extra workers, throw 4 or 5 in there, because fabricator area, the offices, and the lab are all going to have to be extra staffed. The fabricator building pretty much does what it says on the tin. It has futuristic object fabricators that fabricate stuff. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. And I do about 1 to 2 buildings a day. I do 1 or 2 buildings a day because I don't want to burn out and wind up not doing anything for a day. But I think the next thing I'll do is the mechanic, and the inn is mostly finished, just in pieces. And I've combined the school and the church. I know some people might find that offensive. I don't care, because there's not going to be a whole lot of people in these towns, and usually the school slash church slash meeting hall was usually all one building in colonial times, because, I mean, you built your own house out of logs with your own hands, and then you had to build the extra buildings, so it would make sense that they just have a building do several different functions. Of course, banks were federally owned, so they had to be their own individual specific building. And the town shops were usually owned by the proprietor, and they were usually their own building. And the saloon was usually its own building. It might double as an inn for people to sleep. And a lot of old-timey shops, the people who worked in them, sometimes also lived in them. Not always, but sometimes. But the good thing about these buildings is once they're done, oh boy, I'll be able to reuse them in a bunch of other games. Except at least 2 of the next games I'm going to be working on. I might not be using these buildings again. I might, for a few things. And then I have to create distressed or damaged versions of these buildings, but that's going to be easy. Just take the walls here, and grab a few faces. You pull them down, you delete a few faces, a few things here and there. Grab a line. Yeah, I won't even have to redo the texture layouts. That looks, well, I might redo the texture layouts, but that looks okay. And yeah, I had a lot of things planned for this game, but I trimmed a lot of it. Look how long this has been running. I think I'm pretty much going to stop here and upload this, and then do another one next week. Try to do one a week, show what I'm doing, or how far I've gotten. And I might create another one that shows some gameplay with a bit of lag. But that's pretty much it for now.